And there we are live, everyone. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Greg's Whiskey Guides channel. I hope you're all hearing me, seeing me well. Please let me know. Hello, Menno. Hello, Guillaume. Of course, hello, Whisky Jason, which is backstage. Hello, Expedition Whiskey. Hello. So just want to know if you guys are hearing me well. In order to start the thing. Hi, Luna, as well. Luna will come shortly on stage. So, yeah, please, can you tell me if the sound is okay? We just need to know before we present the things. Sound is good. Okay, thank you so much. So, I have 3 guests today. Hi, Gokel. They will appear in different moments. But my first and, let's say, the conductor of the German whiskies knowledge, if I may say, I will make it appear right now. And so, hi, Jason. How you doing?
Greg, great to be here.
Good Abend.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. And we'll have also, I can bring on already Philippe, which will be the second guest, and also he will come along to speak about the distillery he's importing in France, and also that in many markets. But for France, it's Philippe, who is half German. So hi, Philippe.
Hello. Hi, Greg. Hi, Jason. How are you?
Philip, great to see you.
Good to see you, Philippe. Thanks again coming in for the English version this time of the live. And let me just take a bit of water. So I haven't written anything nowhere, but as I did some German studies very earlier on, I hope you're going to be kind with me. Also, guten Abend, Damen und Herren. It's an old formula, I know. Wir sind heute mit Jason auf Whisky Jason, Whisky aus der, and I forgot, Sicht eines Amerikaners. Und wir haben auch Philippe. Will sprechen über SLYRS Brennerei. Und wir haben auch Luna ARRAN. And then that's it. I forgot the rest. So I tried.
Bravo.
So thank you, guys. Thank you also to Frederick that appears on the chat. So yeah, this is a German Whiskies live. I wanted to do that because you guys have been very kind with me, Whisky Jason, as well as Philippe, as well as Luna, and send me samples about what I wanted to learn more about German whiskies. I had a few in my collection, but honestly, until I tried SLYRS whiskies in 2016, back into the Whiskey Live. Hello, Daniel. Welcome on board. Whiskey Live Paris. I thought, honestly, that German whiskies were really bad. This is, this is like the Canadian whiskies. When you just have 1 or 2 brands or 1 or 2 expressions imported here, you will judge a book by its cover, if I may say. That is the only one that represents the country. And for instance, for many people, Crown Royal is the only Canadian whiskey they know, right? So for me,
the club.
Yeah, and for me, this Blaue Maus, sorry guys, distillery, I thought it was the only representative. And it's Jim Murray's fault, because in his whiskey Bible, he advised it and put a very good score. And one of the 2 honestly finished in the sink. It was so bad. It was so badly distillated or something really awful. And the other, I let it for a few years, and now it's drinkable. It's 12 years old. It's called Krottenthaler. I'm going to speak about it later on. I have other examples, but of course, we'll speak about SLYRS. And I'm happy, thanks, Philippe, to have tried also the new make. Distillery. How do you say new make in German, guys, by the way?
New make.
How? Sorry?
Robrand.
Robrand.
Okay.
But we often use the phrase, that's Ro would be actually raw, the raw distillate.
Robrand. Thank you, Luna.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So, based on what I learned, but I know already backstage that I'm wrong, but I'm here to learn. Even when you have tried around how much now? 3,700 probably whiskeys in 20 years. That's my case. But honestly, in that, most of them are Scottish. There's 100 or more Japanese. There's maybe 700 non-Scottish whiskies there, but most of them are Scottish. So even in Europe, continental Europe, very few are from countries that are not the most famous producers, UK, etc. So yeah, I just saw before the live. In Malt Whiskey Yearbook, they're speaking about 54 distilleries producing whiskies in Germany, but it's a non-exhaustive list as usual. I know for some countries they tend to forget to mention some producers because they're too big or because they're too new, and also there's 1 year delay between the publication, the release of Malt Whiskey Yearbook and the informations they have. Sorry for the weird sounds. It's some update of my computer. So yeah, and what I understand is until the 80s, and Glen Else and this, I think, Blaue Maus are quoted as the first ever, maybe. You're going to tell me, Jason, in a minute if
Blaue Maus was the first one. That's correct.
But I don't know about Glen Else at all. It sounds so Scottish.
Well, they're not allowed to call that word Glen anymore. They changed their names now to Ellesburn because they were sued by the Scotch Whisky Association, and they decided not to continue using that name.
But I found this in one of my books behind with Charles MacLean directing the book. So maybe the info was,
like happened this year, basically.
Okay. So the book is a bit older than that. So for me, the story is a bit like, and you're going to tell me again in a minute. I will let you speak, of course, Jason. If it's like what I feel, it's a bit like in France. That's for me. German whiskey history has to do about brewery. There's a lot of breweries in Germany, like more than in France, most probably. And also, many did produce prior to whiskey, they did produce, as in France, fruit eau de vie, fruit spirit. So this seems to be the background until the late 80s or something like that, before, as I understand, the distilleries come to be a bit more confident to produce whiskey, not necessarily only whiskey, but mainly present whiskey references. Many seem to be local only, like in France. So thank you so much for some really beautiful examples. And I was blown away, for instance, of this. I didn't expect the rye. This is Eiffel Whiskey Rye single barrel. It's awesome. But this leads me to just a thing before I let you speak. Before all that, I know that the American people have to thank Dutch people and German people when they founded the United States. Right after it, they brought the rye tradition, cultivating and maybe distilling as well, into the United States. So the USA owes something to German and to Dutch about rye, but it was way before they produced whiskey now. So now I'll let you explain further if you like. Thank you.
Well, we don't have that. What was that spirit called once again? The fruit.
Which one?
Eau de your
French word. It's mean Ushke Beata. It's the French word. So it's fruit spirit.
Exactly. And in Germany, we always had something called Korn. Korn is basically just a single grain that is made from wheat. And so they would distill that. And then many producers of corn, and also of in southern Germany, a thing called Obstler, which they would take then the spirits from the different fruit and then also distill that. And so they decided, hey, if we can do that, we can also make whiskey. Just put it in a barrel, keep it in there for 3 years at 40%, and everything works out just fine. And so therefore you have hundreds and hundreds of different local distilleries that have done this, and also therefore they think that they're making whiskey.
Oh, and yeah, and Luna points out we have Obstler as well.
Yeah.
I don't know this.
Very good. And the in Denmark we'd call it aquavit. It's basically the same thing as the equivalent of the northern German corn with Korn.
And how the Kirsch thing takes its place in there? Producers of Kirsch, did they try to do whiskey after that, or it has nothing?
Oh, you mean like the Kirsch water? Yeah, some of them have also done it. And
Kirsch spirit of cherries. You know, things are said differently in different countries. That's the
exactly
beauty of
those cherries. There's producers that use cherries, they use plums, they use all different types of fruit, apples, and they let it ferment, and then they actually distill it and they make a spirit out of it. And that's one of the things that's just like a fruit salad basically. That's what Opsla means, more or less. Opsla is the word for fruit, and it's a fruity type of spirit.
Okay. Now to go back on whiskey, so you said there were maybe 400 distilleries
up to
now?
400 different distilleries at the moment that have produced. And then of course the question is, is 1 barrel a year produce of whiskey? They would say yes. I would say maybe.
The thing that fascinates me, we're gonna take examples, of course, and we're gonna try some. Is that how this passion of whiskey comes? But before, sorry, people would understand more what I say when you will introduce yourself. Whisky Jason is very famous now on YouTube, but for those who might not know, can you please introduce yourself first?
All right, very good. So I am an American over here in Germany. I've been in Germany now since 1988, so more of my life has been spent in Germany than in the States, where I was born and raised. I started whiskey about 4 years ago to the date where I started my YouTube career. And I just wanted to, first of all, work my way up to Scotch. So I said, hey, let's start with bourbon, and then I'll work my way up to Irish and go over to Japan. And maybe like 3 to 4 months later, I can land up in Scotland and finally taste the real stuff. Well, I found out that there's hundreds of bourbons and hundreds of Irish and hundreds of Japanese and hundreds of other spirits. And so just in the last 2 years or so, I started to actually review Scottish whiskey. I do a video a day in German and about 3 to 4 videos a week in English.
Yeah, so you have one channel in English.
German and one in English, exactly.
Yeah, so for people who are sometimes like me in the beginning, I don't know your channel for a long time. The purple logo is the English, right? Yes. And the other one is in what German. Color?
Orange.
Orange. Okay, that's it.
So about 900 subscribers in English and about almost 3,000 in German.
So please, people, check it out. Check out Jason's channel. You have the link on the description of this live stream, because he does whiskey reviews, but they're very documented. He tries also to do some comparisons between different bottlings, distilleries, or same distillery but different indie bottlers, etc. Very interesting. He does also live shows. He's a lot of community oriented also in Germany and abroad, supporting a lot of channels. Yes. And also he did something, but we're gonna speak about this later on, because we're gonna have a giveaway for you guys. Aha!
Yay.
Be prepared. And yeah, you also do, but please do not tell right now, you also do interviews of producers, distillers, and but we're going to speak about this again, right?
Of course, we'll speak about it later.
Yeah, so about German distilleries, we're going to start with the SLYRS, because I had the chance to meet Philippe in France last year, and since then we have a nice dialogue. And I noticed already in 2016, because I took a few samples, and also I tried. This was only half of the range that is now, I have to say, at least on the stand of Whiskey Live. And I wanted to highlight this. We're going to speak again about this. Sorry for the reflection. The 51, which is 4 different finishes and the classic the range basis. And this is for me so far the best production of the distillery that we're going to come back shortly to this, but which I rated 93 out of 100. So so
it's very good.
Transition est toute trouvée. Transition is found. Hi, Philippe, again. Welcome on board. Thanks for being in. And can you please introduce yourself and also your relationship to the distillery?
Yes, of course. So, yes, I'm Philippe, and so I'm half German and half French. I was born in Munich, and I grew up in Munich and in the south of Munich, in Schliersee. And in Schliersee is situated the SLYRS distillery. And so it's like this. I knew the distillery. And I was introduced in the whiskey in 2016 with Whisky Live in Paris. Yes, yeah, ich bin ein gebürtiger Münchner Kindl. And
which means I
said that I'm
a child of Munich. That's right.
Munich, yes.
Okay.
And so it's at the Whisky Live in Paris where we knew each other, Greg, and and since last year I'm the new importer from SLYRS in France. So my company is Au Saveur de Bavière, and so since 1 year since last year I'm the new importer from SLYRS in France. So
to interrupt you, and I have the classic expression, the basic one in my glass.
Oh, very good, very good. I have the bottle. The little bottle, the half bottle, and they have of the big one, 70 centiliter, and this is the half one, 35 centiliter. But it's more easier to present it.
And it will be a giveaway as well. We will have a few questions for you later on, so stay tuned.
Right.
You have something in your glass, Jason, by the way?
I'm going to go for something that I sent you, and that will be a cave whiskey, the Cavo.
Okay, the Cavo. So it has a relationship with the cave?
It was actually matured in a cave, yes.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Thank you. Cheers, everyone. Or
Cheers.
Prost. Prost. And I go, vas-y, continue. Go ahead, please. Sorry.
Yeah. So, do you want me to talk about?
Maybe start quickly about the distillery. I think it's a small distillery. We can say 100,000 bottles. Started in I'll let you explain. Sorry.
So SLYRS is so the international highly awarded single malt whiskey from Bavaria, and the distillery pioneered in 1999. The mother factory from SLYRS is called Landenhammer. They exist since 1928. And they make fruit alcohol like Obstler, what we said, and the master distiller from Landenhammer in the 19s, in the years 1990, made a travel in Scotland and he discovered a lot of similars between Bavaria and Scotland, and so he had the idea to make a whiskey in Bavaria, and it was a very crazy idea, and not a lot of people were how do you say
in English or German, in French or
ils ont cru en lui.
Okay, or they were confident enough in him.
They were confident. But he said it was his dream to make this, and so he started, and in 1999 it was the first new make was made in the barrel, and in 2002 where the first was sold the first bottles from SLYRS. So it's
English, please, Jason, in the comments. So
this for 20 years, and so the name SLYRS, yes, they come from Schliersee. SLYRS was the origin name from Schliersee in a lot of years ago. In the year 500, 600. Schliersee was founded, and the first name was SLYRS, and then SLYRS became Schliersee, and the founder from SLYRS had the idea to take the origin name from Schliersee for the name of the.
Sorry, Philippe. So you mean the distillery could have called herself Schliersee Brennerei, something like that?
Yes. Yeah. If
it was more difficult to people to remind to have it in mind. I want, please, the Schliersee whiskey.
Yeah.
That's very short, really easy to remind.
Yes. Yes.
So just for people who wonder, it is the classic one bottled at 43, and if I'm not mistaken, all the range is non-chill filtered, non-colored, right?
Yes.
Even this one is 43.
Yes, and so this is you are trying the classic one. So it's this one, the classic one. No, the classic one. So it's the DNA from the distillery. So it's the base from the distillery. So SLYRS used brewery barrel, which barley, which come from the north, from Bavaria, and the water is from the Alps, so very purest water from Schliersee, and so the classic one. So they make the classic one, and this will be the base for all the other products from the distillery.
Yeah, because they dishes. Maybe you can tell people, but we're gonna be coming to that, because I'm not gonna try everyone, because and even all the samples that, but we're gonna evoke some of them quickly. And do you agree, Philippe, to say, because I have it in the glass, it's very malty, cereally oriented, very pure, close to the malt, malted barley expression, especially this one. And
so
3 to 6 years old, we can say that
the particularity from this whiskey, from the classic one, is it's a very fruity, smoothie, aromatic whiskey, which is, you can say it's an easy drinking whiskey. It's very you have the taste from the malt, from the barley, a lot of fruit. It's aged between 3 and 6 years, and in new white oak, American white oak barrels.
And heavily toasted.
Sorry?
And heavily toasted, you said.
Yes, and they're heavy toasted inside the barrels, so they're
But not
new.
heavily charred, which is different and would be much more important on the impact on the distillate, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. Which would have been maybe a problem to understand the distillery character, in my opinion. Sometimes it's interesting to have part of the malt which is heavily the barrels. I mean, if it's a blend of, I think it's a small batch, right? We also have to say that 100,000 bottles per year. So it's every bottle is a small batch.
200,000.
200, sorry.
200, yes, approximately. Actually,
so we can say it's around Kilchoman before they get. No, because 200 bottles is not 200 liters. Sorry.
No.
Well, I like comparison. Maybe it's, what do we set? 50,000 liters capacity per year, something like that. We said last time.
Approximately, yeah.
So it's a micro distillery. You can say that.
It's
like Strathern in Scotland, very small distillery, smaller than Kilchoman, way smaller than Kilchoman. But then again,
Kilchoman is all over the world and actually in supermarkets now. And German whiskey hasn't made that step yet.
Yeah, sure. But while we're at it, which is the biggest? You know that maybe. Sorry, it's a tricky question. Jason, the biggest distillery in Germany in capacity.
St.
St. Kilian's. Oh,
yes.
Okay. So
by far.
I don't know if I have the numbers here. 2,000 liters.
200,000 liters is what they produce at the moment, and they have capacity of up to 500,000.
Okay, so then it's still a small distillery, and in French it's the same.
Now, don't think. Give me a French distillery that's bigger. Give me a continental whiskey distillery that's actually.
Warringhem 1,300, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna check it out. It's the biggest. It's 1,000.
100,000, you mean?
1,000,003, if I'm not mistaken.
1.3 million.
Yeah,
if single malt.
Yeah, supermarket for the first one in supermarket, by the way. Let me check it. It's very dark here, so you have to take my word for it, and we will correct it if I mistake, as always. But it's not a competition because either the French or the German, they can't compete with the Scottish, right?
So exactly, that's what I was trying to say. The distilleries in Ireland and in Scotland are just so large compared to anything else.
Yeah. So the point is, then after it's also probably a question. Let's forget about the numbers. Probably a question of targeting who you will target, because like here we have whiskeys at 40%, but we have also things that sounds a bit more high-end, higher ABV, more demanding recipe of style of malt, or malt and rye, because you do rye very well. I know that now. So yeah, it's difficult. Let's talk just about SLYRS, and we will come to the other ones back with tasting St. Kilian's. So now I have very pure notes of cereals in this one, and I wrote vanilla, the oak, some nice spices, the nutmeg and the cinnamon comes ahead. Also some cooked red apples. Some New York toasted, but these are whiskeys that need a bit some air. I will say that the classic, for instance, needed some air to express itself. I was a bit worried in the beginning; it was too oaky, and finally, after two tries, it's really nice. And if I was to say blind, it was a Scottish whiskey, I could have said, "Oh, why not?" So Lowlander maybe. So yeah, I gave this one an 88.
Okay.
And also a thing before I let you speak about the range, what I loved a lot about SLYRS, it's the ability to keep the balance. Whatever finish they do, whatever kind of whiskey they put across, except those ones, the one in the mountains, maybe you're going to tell us about it, some experiments they did. I haven't tasted it, so I cannot speak about it. I found them very balanced, very elegant. There's something that has a lot of finesse, contrarily to some older stuff. And even to whiskeys from other countries. It's not a... I mean, I'm very curious, you know. I have in my collection, I don't chase every day for having the maximum whiskeys from different countries. Honestly, it is focused mainly on Scottish. But I have 12 different countries in my collection. I could have just only searched for Scottish, Irish, bourbon, Japanese, and basta. But no, I try to discover a bit more. But then again, there's the question of distribution, and I'm so happy we have now an example of a great distillery, whatever small or a craft or anything you want it is, to be distributed now in French correctly and not overpriced as before by La Maison, etc. So...
yeah, so it was a little problem. That's true.
I'm happy of this switch, honestly. I prefer that. Not that they don't do a great job with other things, like other companies, and I saw that in most recent Jason's video about the peat and cherry, and I agree with him. What I like also in Jason, it's a bit like me. We're no double speak. We love whiskey. We love whiskey. We're going to try to be, we're not perfect, we're not objective at all, but we're just going to try to tell you what is our take of not only the whiskey, but the value of it. Is it worth putting so much money in it or not, in our humble opinion, right?
Yep.
Okay, so go ahead, please, on the range, Philippe.
So yeah, for the range, the assortment from SLYRS, so we have the core range. So you have the classic one, the DNA, the base from SLYRS. Then you have the age 12 years, and the oldest one from SLYRS. And you have the 51, the first one you showed at the beginning. So the 51 is a very special whiskey from SLYRS, because it's a blending from different SLYRS whiskies. So you have the classic inside, but you have also different finishings, like the sherry finishings, the Pedro Jimenez, the Oloroso, the Sauterne finishing, and the port finishing.
Oh, port. The port, the Oloroso, the PX, and the Sauterne, that's it?
Yes.
Port, Sauterne, and the two. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's almost it's a tour de force for me. Yeah, it's a tour de force. I don't know the word in English or in German. Tour de force.
Yeah, it's an tour de force.
Sorry, guys.
The power of nature.
No, it's the know-how. Let's say it's hard to translate, honestly.
Meisterwerk, Kraftwerk.
Yes, it's a.
And we're gonna do
art.
Yeah, it's not exactly the late same meaning, but I wanted just to do here a wink on another channel that overshadows us tonight, because there's even Richard Patterson and Bill Amsden. Please don't go. Now I said that. I wanted to do a wink to Richard that I know personally, because I think this one is on the steps of the. It's different. It's a different whiskey, and I wonder at some certain extent if I don't prefer this one, honestly, to the King Alexander III, Dalmore. But it's the same crazy idea of mixing different casks that on the paper probably should not work, right? And it works. So kudos to the master blender for that. I just wanted to say that, but I let you go on.
Thank you. And 51, the name 51, because this whiskey has 51%. alcohol. So the cask finish has the cask finish has 55%, and the 51 a little less, 51%. But it's a very nice whiskey from SLYRS, and a lot of the men loves the 51 because it's a little bit stronger, and it's
a fruit bomb.
made for the man.
We can say that, right? I don't know what Jason thinks.
You found
it's a kind of fruit.
A little bit of fruit. It's a little more malty, I thought.
Well, they two hand in hand for me, and that's fantastic. The combination of the two. I have also here the rum cask that I enjoyed a lot.
Yeah. And then so next to the core range, you have also the cask finishings.
Yeah.
So SLYRS,
I have the one while you talk. The Oloroso Fass, which is strangely the only one that's written in German. Everything is in except normally here we have you see we have rum cask finish, and for this one this Oloroso Fass. I did German earlier on, so I know Fass is cask, but
they are changing. They are changing the etiquette, and the old one is with the German word, and now they are changing it, and they put the English word.
So I have a collector one.
Sure. If you no, so you have the cask finishings. So for the cask finishings, so SLYRS use always the classic one, and instead to put it in the bottle. They put it in different barrels. So they have Sherry, Pedro Jimenez, Oloroso, Sauterne, port finishing, Madeira, Masala. They have sorry.
So fantastic Madeira finish. Not at the catalog yet, but I tried a sample, and for me it's wonderful.
And so there are approximately seven finishings in different casks. For the age, so the classic one is between 3 and 6 years in the new American white oak casks, and then you have about between 1 and 2 years more in the other casks for the finishing.
Guys, I will come back to you. I would like to highlight the chat, but please, if you can do an effort to do the chat in English, I will appreciate, because I will struggle to highlight things I don't understand. It's just please, if you can. Otherwise, never mind. Just speak within you. Not a problem, as long as you follow what we say. But it's just, if you could put a bit of English for us poor French who don't understand a lot of German. Okay, thank you. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Philippe.
And then you have also the limited editions. So they are highly limited varieties released every year. So you have the SLYRS, the age 12 years. You have Islay cask finishing, or you have the SLYRS Mountain Edition, which is measured at 1,501 meters above sea. So last year it was the first edition. Now you have the second edition, and so
it's not imported yet, right, in France?
No, not at the moment.
Maybe too small amount of bottles as well. It's limited.
Yes, it's at the moment it's very limited, and I try.
50 casks they only put up there.
I don't have the I don't know how much exactly, but it's very limited.
Have you tried the previous one, Jason?
I had tried last year.
And Jason, Yeah.
I have a sample of it. Yes, I have nipped on it. I haven't done a formal review yet.
Okay. But can you say already if you see a difference between the ones that are not in the mountain and?
Well, there's a big difference between that and the 3-year-old. Yes.
Oh, okay. Sensitive question now, Philippe. I forgot to ask you in French because we did a live in French. Some people, and sometimes I agree with them, sometimes I disagree, are really anti-NAS whiskies among even whiskey lovers, and they would like to have an age statement in every single whiskey they have before them. I understand that price-wise for long-established distilleries. For younger ones, I tend to be more quiet about that and more understanding, because I know the sustainability, the consistency, to provide casks, to do a core range is difficult, and I prefer to have a 3 to 6 years old that's very good than a 5 or 6 that has some bad quality casks in it. It's just my opinion. But what can you answer to people? And I plainly understand this question. I'm not criticizing at all, but what would you respond? You're not the distiller, sorry, you're the importer, so you don't have that heavy weight on your shoulders. But what do you answer to some who would say, why don't SLYRS release a 5 years old, let's say? Why don't you have a 5 years old?
So I don't want to say wrong things, and I think the SLYRS will be more able to give a good response answer. But I think the idea from SLYRS is to make very highly quality premium.
Oh, you're frozen a bit.
Are you still here?
Yeah.
There's an interruption.
We're still hearing you. The image is frozen, but go ahead.
Do you hear me?
I hope it's still, the sound is good.
Greg?
Yeah.
We hear you.
We hear you. Go ahead, even if it's
okay.
frozen.
Because our connection is yeah, okay.
Struck matches a bit.
Okay. Yeah, so they want to make a highly quality premium whiskey, and so it was the decision at the beginning to make the classic one between 3 and 6 years, because they are new barrel, so they cannot put in longer in the barrel, and to have a line in the taste from the whiskey, but during the different years, it's necessary to have this mixed from this blending from the different barrels, and so that's why they always say it's between 3 and 6 years the age from the whiskey.
Okay, thank you. That was not tricky, but I knew this question would have been asked, if not now, after in the description. So it's a kind of things people tend to ask. But like I said,
it does have an age expression. They do have a 12-year-old whiskey.
Yeah, they have the 12, but it was limited before. And like Philippe told me last time I saw him, it's now a consistent reference in the core range, which is great, because it also assures us the price could be fair, if I may say.
Until last year, the 12 years was limited, only some 5,000 bottles, and since last year, the 12 years is now available all the year, because 12 years ago the distillery grew up was they make a new one, and it's a bigger one, and so they have more possibility to have more bottles now for the 12 years old.
I don't understand the question of Luna. Let's see.
Yeah, I saw it at the moment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you want it to be on the website. I don't know if it's on my website, honestly. I don't remember. Is it
so for the
Philippe, you're still there?
Yeah, I'm there. So mix of ages, I mean, that go in a bottling. So is it possible to put a Roth mix on the website?
I think she wants to know the array of ages, if it's okay to have this information on the website, right, Luna? I don't know if it's the sense of her question. We're going to have Luna later on.
Yeah, so...
but I think you answered the question a bit. It's like I said, for instance, last year I named a whiskey, a Scottish whiskey, among the I gave 20 maybe references or more, but among the very well rated, around 90 out of 100, I gave an award to a no-age statement whiskey, which was Glen Scotia 8032 Travel Retail Expression. But why? Because for me, the fact they were searching to have, let's say, I don't have the correct answer there, but I'm going to guess a bit for the example. Let's say between 6 and 12 or 6 and 14. Like, for instance, Longrow CV was between 6 and 14 years old whiskey. And the CV worked so well because they wanted to do something like curriculum vitae or chairman's vat. There was highlighting the capacity of making good whiskey in this distillery. And for me, the distillery, if they have this no-age statement, in order to provide a complexity, more complexity, something more interesting, okay. If it's on the contrary to hide young whiskey, for instance, great names, thousands of liters, distilleries from the big four in Scotland that drop the 12 years old, let's say, not give example, but Glenlivet, sorry, comes to mind, to bring on the Founder's Reserve with no statement and no interest almost at all on the palate and very sanitized whiskey, then it's a mistake and it's something that we all criticize. But for younger distillery that hasn't a lot of stock, that has to compose between what she has, the good, the average, the oaky, the less oaky, spicy, etc., I think they have to, in France, in Germany, in the US, everywhere, they have to compose with what they have. And this is why the no-age statement, I did a full video about almost 30 minutes about the no-age statement question. I think I covered everything possible, every aspect. Without being pretentious, I think I tried to, between these historical one and the new ones. But I think we cannot ask for a young distillery to put high age statement all the time. We might ask, personally, I'm for a kind of formula for several distilleries once they are established and they have consistency in the capacity of production, etc., storage and maybe cooperage, etc. I'm for something that would say over 5 years or over 6 years, rather than state an age in particular, because this was made, by the way, for some blended whiskeys back in the days. But okay, don't want to digress too much. But yeah, so it's an interesting question. Sorry, I brought it and it was a bit long, but for me, it's not something that will put me off. I don't know, Jason, if you agree. If I see a whiskey that
12
is
never
really
disappeared, did it, from Glenlivet?
Sorry?
The 12 never disappeared.
No, but it was removed from European market because the target was the American market. It's what they told me as well when I was at the Northern American market, because this is when I traveled there a long time ago, you could go in every remote area you wanted, a beautiful Hudson River Valley, for instance, and in the most remote bar near the Hudson River Valley, they will have maybe 30, 20 whiskeys only, or 5 sometimes. Which single malt from Scotland you were always finding? You only had 12. So,
or Glenfiddich.
Yeah, so they had to remove that for a time in France and in Europe, also probably in Germany, I guess, in other countries.
I don't think we really had any problems with the Glenlivet 12.
We had here.
Okay.
Well, but to put a long story short, yeah, I'm not I will not judge now with the experience I have a young distillery as SLYRS to be not respectful of the consumer because they don't have an age statement. And as long as the brand ambassador or the importer like you, Philippe, is allowed to tell us what it's all about, it's okay. No big deal.
Yeah, no, and they communicate very often which years had the whiskies, and so it's not a mystery. So but you said no age statement. Another point, the Sauterne finishing, they receive this year the gold medal at the World Whiskey Awards in the category no age statement. Yeah.
Okay.
So for this year.
Sorry, I have a question from Danielle. What about German laws, transparency? Is it possible to have full disclosure? Well, it's the same kind of question, yeah. I don't know, but it's a regulation question. Maybe
I just answered it. St Killian, for example, with their number 2 and with their number 1, actually put the percentage of the different types of barrels that were used. So absolutely no problem. Not like in Scotland, where they can only name the youngest whiskey. The same problem we now have with Ireland, by the way, as well.
Okay. I might do a separate video to tell what I think about different expressions of SLYRS. Maybe another super exciting moment, but for those who want a real quick survey about the range, I will try in a few minutes if it makes sense quickly to summarize my tastings. For instance, I just had the Oloroso cask finish. I gave it a 91 out of 100. It took a bit of time to go to this
very good.
3 times, I think, because it's sherry. It had to open up. Just a hint of sulfur or struck matches in the beginning, and then once it opened up, it's beautiful juicy cherry in there, staying a bit spicy at the same time, with beautiful red fruit, a hint of pepper as well, and something really interesting with a bit of water, getting more juicy as well on the palate. I liked it a lot. So beautiful finish. The rum cask I have there, I rated it 90.5 out of 100. 89, sorry, 0.5 out of 100. Didn't reach the 90 because of some oaky edge that sometimes I wonder if they should not, in the distillery, use more refill casks than New Oak, even heavily toasted. Maybe try a mix of different kind of fill or different type of casks to a bit lower maybe the oak, because the oak is a bit loud in the rum cask, but there's so beautiful coconut notes, rum and raisins, some pineapple as well. So all in all, well balanced, beautifully vanilla notes as well, vanilla and sweet spices. So I like it a lot as well. So the cask finish, I had more trouble with this one because of the oak, and also I was expecting more fruitiness. And I have to say it's the same problem I had with the Arran Sauterne. So it's not only a question of German whiskey. struggled to get over the oak from the previous cask. It's my guess. That's sometimes not as good as the whiskey cask prior to that. It's just an opinion or a sentiment, let's say, an impression. I gave it an 84 out of 100, but it started around 80. It started around 80. So for me, my average is 75. That is not a rating for whiskey you should buy, try, or everything. The good whiskeys start over 80, and the excellency is 90. So you can 85. It's a good whiskey. 93, it's excellency. So 51, probably, yeah, it's a kind of thing I would like to give an award. So yeah, dryness, but then again, the Sauterne, I think it deserves to open up more. I have only 3 or 4 tries. Maybe it could even progress. This beautiful sucre glace, glazed sugar notes, like on pastry topping. There's nice fruits au sirop, tinned fruit notes, let's say. The Pedro Jimenez now, which I rated 86 out of 100. Again, it's one that started 78 out of 100, and it progresses as long as the sample I had. I let it breathe. I took the time, and I think it stabilized a bit. Those sherry also need some time, some breathing, oxidation. So nice juicy fruits once again, some nice spices. A bit demanding compared to the Oloroso, which is straightforward and very efficient, very strong in his presence and balanced with the spices. So a bit demanding, but 86, it's a good score overall. The 12 years old is probably the one I struggle the most with. I finished with an 83 rating. Had the same trouble with the Arbiki 4 years old rye, Highland rye, which is the kind of oakiness and the distillery character that strikes a bit too much with the aging, with the oak, with a dominant nutmeg note, but also some beautiful noble notes and pecan notes. So there's something oaky. There's a strange oaky note that puts me a bit off to enjoy it. Really, it's a good whiskey. 83. It's okay writing. It's not a super rating, but I struggled a bit with it. It was a sample. It was not a bottle. Once again, these kind of things probably need more time to be assessed. But then there were 2 tasting plus the one at the stand. To go quickly, I loved a lot the Madeira cask finish. I gave it a 90.5 out of 100, and it's only based on a sample.
Yeah.
Beautifully fruity. I love Madeira cask finishes when they are good. I'm very picky when they are not good, in my opinion. But it's one of the finishes I like the most, I have to say. I don't know you, Jason. The Madeira cask.
I liked it. That was one of my favorite, actually.
There you go. So I will be coming back to it. There's a sound kind of a fruitiness, elegancy that comes from the Madeira. Which is really enjoyable. Very beautiful floral notes. Again, the vanilla, some kind of French pastry note, millefeuille with almonds and stuff. It's beautiful. The Marcella cask finish was very good as well. I gave it a 90 out of 100. More fruitiness, but different. Less maybe. It's difficult. It's different, but it's very good. Another thing before we stop with maybe the highlight, I'm gonna try with you the highlight. We are 1 hour already. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna switch for the new make. The new make was very interesting, but so I'm gonna ask you something now, people in the chat. Let's see how we are. A second in the chat. So yeah, Jason, talked about things that we're gonna speak for some in the second part, where we include St Killian's as well, and we'll have Luna for that with us. But for now, we talked about some giveaway, guys, and maybe because we're already 1 hour, so maybe we can give the sets to 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
And ask first question for you guys for the first set. For those who watch my channel, and I hope there are some because it's on my channel, I did already talked about SLYRS in some live streams and in some quick news, channel news, stuff like that. And I showed almost all the time the same bottle, and I have 3 on the table, if you noticed. Which one? It's an easy question, I think. Which one is this beautiful, the first one on the chat? Ah, there you go, Meno. Meno has it. Yes, it's the 51. There you go, fantastic. I'm happy for you. So you get the first sample. You have the set of samples to show, Philippe? No, I don't know.
No, unfortunately. Wait, maybe if you can make a screen.
Yeah.
If possible. Wait, I will try something. I can.
Yeah, congrats, Meno. It's 6 samples of 4 centiliters. 5 being single malts and 1 being a liquor. I didn't talk about this liquor yet. Honey and vanilla. It's one of the most beautiful liquor.
It's very good.
Honestly, one of the most beautiful. It's dangerously drinkable. It's one of the most elegant spirit I ever tried, honestly. And I, at the risk of being disrespectful towards Philippe and the master blender and distiller, I said I liked a lot after leaving the stand, and he can tell it's true. After leaving the stand, before leaving the stand of Philippe last time we meet, I said that I'm impressed by the whiskeys, everything is elegant, balanced, etc., blah, blah, blah. But the thing that impressed me the most is that you will be able to produce this liqueur without being over sugary, with a very low bad ABV. It's not a sugar bomb. You're not. It's not Baileys. It's not stuff like that. It's very elegant and light, and I'm sure in cocktails it's gonna be a killer. I will be very curious.
You have all the smooth taste from the whiskey, which is still present.
Yeah, but I think also, like you said, there's the Alps water to reduce it. That's probably very good water. The honey is made locally. You told me it's probably very good quality honey and not industrial honey. So I'm sure the vanilla probably is very well picked. So this, you can feel it, even if I'm not a liqueur expert. But I started with liqueurs before getting to whiskey. And I hate now, I cannot stand, honestly, most of the liquors around. So this one, I was very, very impressed. And I didn't bought yet, but I had to buy me one, and I'm gonna try blind to some people this, and I'm sure they're gonna be crazy.
If I can share my screen, screen, I have a picture from the tasting set. So wait.
Vas-y.
Up. So wait. It's so there. It's from a Instagram post. So you see it?
I have to put it on stream myself, I think. Wow, beautiful. Fantastic. So Meno, you're in for a treat, my friend.
So there you have the 6 samples. So you have the classic, the 51, and the Oloroso port and sauterne finishing, and the vanilla and honey liqueur.
And you know what? Menno won a super, I think it was an auction for a good cause. He already won a set of samples from me, featuring Highland Park, Thor 16, was else a lot of things that are not on the market, only in secondary market now, some Springbank, some. So I think it's gonna be happy. And now, people, the second set, and the second set for you guys. I hope you're 11 people watching. I think. Yes, there's another set. People, stay tuned. The other set is related to the fantastic Whisky Jason channel. So you better have. I couldn't follow to every single live he did with those guys, but I will see them when I have time, each one, because the questions are always on point. I love the images you show in every of your interviews. The quality, also, the image is great. You said really 4 years only you try whiskey, Jason?
Yes.
No way.
Yeah, 1,500 different videos so far. So yeah.
Yeah, but you're not making a living
possible.
with that. You're having a job aside, right?
I do have a job. This is still
Full-time
hobby,
job. Oh my God, how can you do that?
Self-employed, yes.
Bravo. Congrats. So in order to pay tribute to his channel, wait for it. Yeah, please, Menno, abstain yourself for the next prize, because yeah, Ralph is an amateur. So guys, if you watched recently live shows from Jason, you might have noticed he did a series of reports about this is an interview, but it's also a report in a way, because they have pictures, informations, etc. Blah blah. It was focused in one country in particular. Which was this country? Can you please answer to that? I think it's quite easy. Even if you didn't watch them all, you might have seen at least past some videos. I don't know. Let me see. Oh, fantastic! We have a winner.
Yay, Lawrence! Congratulations.
And you're also Armenian like me, and I promise I didn't pay you or anything. So please get in touch with me, and I will forward your address and stuff to Philippe. So
I was supposed to be actually in Ireland, going to those 14 different distilleries, and instead I did a virtual trip of Ireland, visiting about 12 of them.
There you go, fantastic. So congrats, Lawrence. Bravo. Where are you from? I hope you're not in the US.
I don't know.
For shipping reasons. Tu es français? Peut-être. Is it French? I am French from Armenian and Greek origins, for those who wonder. But I'm born here. Hi, Rumbut. We have the one and only, the nerdiest guy on the net, Iladi Rumbut from Netherlands. Oof, Southern California, my God. I don't know if Philippe can ship the samples to you.
USA.
Les États-Unis, c'est compliqué au niveau.
USA.
Maybe if someone visits you, Lawrence, in the next months for tourism, let's say, and will travel through Europe, you can see, because it might be difficult.
French address will be the best. Also, for customs reasons, a French address will be the best.
Okay, nice background, mate. Interesting. Well, I have family in Lebanon as well. My father, actually, rest in peace, was born in Beirut, in the Armenian area. Yeah, passed away 3 years ago. Okay, yeah, we'll see. We'll find a way, Lawrence. Don't
Yeah.
worry. I hope the next winner, though, won't be in the US. Sorry, guys, because it will.
Nick, what we can do, give me or give to Lawrence our email address, and so I can go in touch direct with Lawrence, and we can find a solution. That's not a problem.
Yeah, super. Yeah, please do that, Lawrence. You can contact me also on my website address. And we'll figure out that. Yeah, where there is a will, there is a way. Fantastic. As usual, great guys. Okay, where we are at, I was tasting the 51 gorgeous stuff. Gorgeous stuff from the distillery.
The most gorgeous, yes.
This is powerful. That's something spirity, but immediately une espèce d'avalanche de fruits, a fruit avalanche, and also spice avalanche. And this is gourmet. C'est très gourmand.
Very aromatic, and you have very the particularities from each finishing, which is coming
exactly.
in the noise and in the noise and in the mouth.
I can't even read my notes because it's too dark here. But anyway, we'll publish them and you will know about them. So before we finish with, but you can stay, of course, all the live stream long, Philippe, you're more than welcome.
Thank you.
I think because we're already 1 hour and more, shall we go for the bottle now? C'est la fête. Never, jamais trop, as we say in French. And I don't know if it has an equivalent in Germany. There you go.
No, not that I don't know it. So I propose the last giveaway. It's the little bottle from the classic one, 35 centiliters. And the question is, we said it at the beginning, approximately how many bottles does SLYRS sold in per year?
Yeah, how many bottles SLYRS Distillery produces each year? Yeah. And I said a wrong number, and I was corrected by Philippe or Jason. So you might have Philippe corrected it. Anyone in the chat? Ta-ta-ta. First one gets half bottle, which is rare on, I think, on these kind of live streams. Oh no, man, no. Yes. What do we do? Does he have the right to win 2 times?
You didn't say that that you can only win once. So
yeah. He said that?
No,
you didn't say that you can only.
I didn't say.
Yeah.
Oh, I said that for the second set, but I didn't say for the bottle. Look at this one. No, you're
2 million.
Okay, yeah.
It will be fine.
Yeah, I think if Menno, if you don't mind, I think that will be fair. I don't know if you agree. You're not obliged to. I think it's a kind suggestion by Luna, but you know, like in Roy Aquavite channel, he said if someone wins a sample, give it to someone else, nominate someone else. I think it's a nice idea. Gute Nacht.
Yeah, sorry.
You're we're long a bit. How long can you stay, Jason?
My eyes fall asleep, so yeah, keep on going.
Okay. We're gonna try to be quicker on the. Okay, so well, I let you decide while we continue the live show. Otherwise, it's gonna be a bit difficult. Well, I finished this 51. That's gorgeous. I'm gonna speak again about it in my in my videos and website. So so that's it. I think for now we made 1 hour about SLYRS. So I hope you're happy with that, Philippe.
Yeah.
And we'll please stay for to see how this finishes with the bottle. We'll let the chat decide. We'll see how it goes. If there's no one that decides, we'll see how we can, maybe a random thing or another question. I don't know. We'll see a bit later on. Oh, there you go. What do you think of this, Menno? Should this guy have one?
Where is iLaddie? Isn't he in Canada?
No, in Netherlands.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So if Menno is right, but I don't want to oblige Menno, so there you go. Okay, we have a contract here, and I'll see that with Ramboot, and then I go back to you, Philippe. But thank you so much, Menno. That's fantastic. Yeah, that's true. That's very fair of you guys. Thank you so much. Oh my God, there's a noise in the neighborhood. Don't know what's going on. Okay. Okay. Well, we're gonna go on. So yeah, I talked previously. I'm not gonna try everything tonight. We're gonna move on to other distilleries, and we're gonna bring Luna. But before, like I said, there is this one that's very oaky, Blaue Maus Krottenthaler. Since then, Jason told me they changed the bottle. So yeah, I hope the spirit inside has changed. My almost definitive score rating is 75 out of 100. It came from 55, and so if it was, I think, Michael Jackson, he would have rated it maybe 50, and Serge Valentin maybe 35. I don't know. This one is nice, though. I rated 88, to my big surprise. It's made of épeautre in French, which is spelt grain. I don't know, once again. It has something close to the Belgian old style, and also I don't remember which one was very estery in your samples, Jason. So it's a kind of fruity and floral and very ester-driven whiskey. So it's nice. I didn't expect it to be so drinkable. It lacks a bit of complexity, but it has a lot of malt in there, and I think it's I hope we'll see that again. But we're gonna move to a distillery which is, I think, more recent, and like we said, one of the bigger ones now. And we're gonna bring the one and only to speak about that, Luna ARRAN. Hey, there you go. Fantastic to have you here, Luna. Thank
Hello, I hope I'm unmuted.
Yes, we hear you well. So yeah, fantastic. Yeah, please do like that. So yeah, it's the problem. It's, you have, like in France, you don't have only good whiskeys. You have so-so average stuff, like everywhere, by the way. So Luna and Jason provided me samples from St Kilian distilleries. And then again, we're going to let them speak a bit more, because all I know is 98, foundation of the distillery, but to do fruit spirit, if I'm not wrong, and then 2008 to do whiskey.
All right, no, there was no fruit spirit before that. It started out and it's only a single malt distillery.
And they actually got a lot of their works, all their copper works are from Scotland, as far as I know, right?
Sites.
Yeah. And they combined it with a very, very modern distillery. Jason has been there several times, I think, right? So what do you like most about this distillery, Jason?
I would guess the transparency is the thing I like the best. I mean, you can go there, you can ask any questions you want to. They'll give you great answers. I know the master distiller. He's actually a great guy. He started off in the beer industry, a beer brewer. Before that, he was a carpenter, actually, more of a joiner. And now he's a whiskey maker, and that's fabulous. The distillery is actually owned by one guy. His name is Andreas. He is an investment banker in Frankfurt, and he turned his hobby into his passion into a business. And so they have the possibility to buy different casks. At the moment, the master distiller Mario has over 200 different types of casks that he can use to actually make whiskey with.
Oh, wow.
Different sizes, different type of things that were in them before, different types of wood, and maybe that's the most special thing about here in, whoops.
Greg, you're pulling a Roy here.
Is that we can use other woods, not just oak.
Just some catalogs. He had to, because I forgot my notes. Sorry, guys. Go ahead, Luna. Sorry.
Look, Jason was just talking about those different casks that St. Kilian can use, and I think that's really something fascinating because if you have their signature one, Jason put in the chat what kind of different casks they have in there, and maybe I can just show it. I don't know if my camera can focus because I only have the camera on my computer. On each bottle they have, on the back, they have this kind of diagram, and it tells you exactly what kind of casks are in each bottling. And I think that's a great idea. And you can even double check it on their website if you just have a sample or something. And so they're being completely transparent with this. And I think that's a great idea, and that's I don't know if you can't do it in Scotland, but I think you could do it in Germany.
Yep.
I don't know where my St. Kilian notes are. That's what I was looking for.
I thought so, yeah.
I let you continue. Sorry about these. Oh, they're there. They were under the others.
Okay.
Right, good, you found them. Sorry. Excellent. Yeah, what they also did, they had a cask program where you could actually buy 30-liter casks at the beginning. They produced about 1,000 of those, and I personally own at the moment 3 of them. And I did cask sharing programs with them. That's very, very good, where you allow people to buy a little bit of a certificate, and then you'll get your 3 or 4 bottles later on out of those 30-liter casks, which means a much quicker maturation. But the real casks that they use are either the 200-liter cask, or they also like the quarter casks from Garrison Brothers from Texas. So they have quite a few of those also there, which makes a great whiskey, by the way.
Okay, forget about the mess in the background. Okay, I couldn't find all
Look at my shelves. Oh, they are clean and great, aren't they?
I couldn't find all the notes. I'm sorry, guys.
Don't worry, Greg. Everything is fine. Everything's fine.
What I remember is the pitted one was quite medicinal.
Which one, the number 3?
I thought of Lafroig with the wine finish. For the 4th one, I think it was the one from...
That was fairly ashy at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah. And if I remember well, because I don't have the notes now, I wonder if it was not the 3 that I preferred or the 2.
I preferred the 3 as well.
Okay, let's pour the 3. I apologize, people, because I couldn't find the other notes. I have them somewhere. Actually, I have to reorganize everything because one of those stuff break, so I had to find out all the files, and I thought some are lost somewhere or not classified well. So I did my job as good as I thought I would. So once again, but yeah. So could we say that the bottle shape is the same or so as the distillery still?
As the pot stills, exactly.
Pot still?
These bottles are made in Italy, to be honest.
Okay. And this is 50 CL, right?
Yep,
Yes,
50 CL.
So number 3, we have 94% ex-Tennessee whiskey and 6% ex-bourbon quarter casks from Texas.
Okay. Menos thinks it's one of the best. You mean the distillery or the barrel or cask?
No, the signature one, I think. I sent Menno samples. I don't know if I sent him number signature 3. I'm not sure about that. And
I have the 3.
Menno liked signature 1 the best.
Honestly, the 3 tasted blind. I couldn't say it's not a Scottish one.
Well, why
maybe I
should
will
you
guess
say
it's
not
young.
Scottish? You're using Scottish hardware. You're using Scottish barley. It's only produced in Germany and matured here. So what's different? I mean,
so would you say it's not a genuine German whiskey?
well, that's one of the questions we have right now. What is German whiskey? We don't know. We're still in the process. Give us 10 to 20 more years and we'll tell you what German whiskey really is. But in the meanwhile, I often say for St. Kilian, it's Scottish whiskey made in Germany.
But I think they do it particularly well. I mean,
it's a fruit bomb.
There are German whiskies that I think that I just
beautiful
don't like. German whiskies made by beer brewers. They try to do something that they can't really do. But I think with St. Kilian, but also with SLYRS, they are actually really putting in a lot of effort and really putting in a lot of thought and a lot of research and experimentation. And I think that's a good thing because you don't have these regulations that you have in Scotland. So you can do a lot of other things that you can't do in those traditional whiskey producing countries.
And also the equipment is so important.
Yeah.
If you're using these tiny little column still hybrids from Kute, you're going to get a particular taste, for example, or from other distiller manufacturers here in Germany. Now, if you're using big pot stills, you're going to get a much different flavor, a much better possibility to regulate that. And that's what's happening with these SLYRS now have bigger pot stills. Elsburn has bigger pot stills, and also St. Kilian have bigger pot stills, and that makes a big, big difference.
Yeah. What kind of stills do Stock? What do they have?
They have, I think Arnold is actually what they have then from Germany.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I haven't tried this one. About this one, what I can say is there's something maybe a bit chemical on the nose before I tried it, but then because it's young, obviously, then there's some medicinal notes and then some nice almonds and star anise notes, which I like in Islay whiskies, something medicinal. But I prefer the palate than the nose, honestly. Nice, simple, easy, straightforward.
Yeah.
Almonds. Yeah, it's an easy sipper. It's well made, but yet again, it's very Scottish in a way. But you know, Lafroig McMara used Lafroig cask, I think, for the beginning for French grog, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it Box from Sweden? Box that's now called High Coast, I think.
Box did use Lafroig cask. I'm not sure about
Box probably started with Lafroig cask before bringing on local peat, I think now, probably. I'm not sure. So yeah, it's a question of being genuine has to be, for me, with the terroir. And the terroir question, as you all know, is very sensitive one and very trendy. And honestly, if you haven't got the cask from your country, the barley from your country, the yeast from your country, etc., can you really call it a genuine? I think Westland, when they're gonna have the peat from their ex-military camps, peat bogs they found nearby, plus their Garina oak, local native oak, like they say, plus all the barley that's around, they're going to be much more terroir than some Scottish ones, right? Probably.
But if you're talking about terroir, you can't really include all the American whiskies that source their spirit from someplace and then mature it in a completely different environment. And
that's why I speak about Westland and not
Yes.
bourbon.
Westland do produce their own whiskeys, use the own Washington oak and so on, and they're doing great jobs there.
so they're not sourcing anymore from MGP or something.
Westland never source from MGP.
Never. Okay.
No.
But
it's
there are a lot of
bigger
American whiskeys, or Tennessee bourbons or something that source their spirits from MGP and then just in quotation marks mature it in their own warehouses. And what happens to this terroir, Greg, in your opinion?
Well, regulations are a bit loose, and I'm going to be invited on Friday. Maybe we're going to discuss this question. I'm very honored to be invited on Mark Gillespie's podcast.
That's Westland. I don't think you've ever seen this, Luna, have you?
No, never.
Exactly.
Never.
Is it a special?
You can only get it in the United States, right?
No, actually in Germany as well.
Germany?
Yep. Vic.
Ah.
Which version it is?
This is the American Oak Single Malt.
Oh, okay. We have it in France as well.
Exactly. There was
writing that down.
Yep.
The single cask.
You can get a sample, just ask.
And the native oak arena is hard to get as well.
Yeah.
But to answer Luna, the problem is that, as I was told recently, if you're not speaking about straight bourbon, straight rye, and straight everything, basically you can use almost everything to do bourbon. And also age it for...
Straight bourbon doesn't have to be in that state for the entire time that it's aged, which is a really crazy law. You can have Kentucky straight bourbon, but it's only been aged for 18 to 23 months, I think is the law, and still it's straight bourbon.
Yeah, so mainly bottle in bond might be the most secure way to have a genuine.
Exactly.
And you don't get them here. But then there's even worse than that, Luna. And you know that the Japanese whiskeys, because then they're not obliged to state on their labels that they have Scottish and Canadian content in it. And when you get those beautiful kanjis, calligraphic signs on the bottle that's €100 and 18 years old, ooh, and I have some brand names here to drop. Don't buy that. You're not in Japanese territory.
No, not at all.
Every now and then I see some reviews, I won't name no one, that are very approximate about Japanese whiskey, especially from newcomers to whiskey. You have to be careful of what you're talking about, my friends, because it's very specific. And for people who try Japanese whiskey for a long time, like I think I can say for 15 years or so, there are some distilleries you really recognize very easily. So when you come across a blended malt or a blended whiskey, also because I'm passionate about blending, obviously, you can not necessarily all the time guess the non-Japanese that are in. But for instance, Nikka Teketsuru, to name only this blended malt, I'm 100% sure they have a huge, if not 100% content of Miyagi-Kyo and Yoichi distillate in it, because I feel it, each one for its qualities, which is also the same for the pure malt range, blended malt, except because I think there are also some Scottish content, because Nikka owns Ben Nevis, for instance, distillery, and I was told by Master Distiller Ben Nevis that there are some Ben Nevis in the Nikka blends.
They're actually selling most of their stock to Japan, Ben Nevis.
Yeah,
aren't they? So, but Jason, do you know whether St. Kilian is actually planning to move maybe to German barley, at least unpeated?
That's a great question.
They do use German barley for unpeated already, not for the peated though.
Oh, because earlier you said they are sourcing their barley from Scotland. That's what I was.
Number 3. So number 3.
Oh, number 3. It was for number 3. Okay.
Was a peated whiskey, and therefore they had Scottish barley. The problem is in Germany we have no place that can really malt the grain with peat like we want it to be. We have a distillery now called Elk Whiskey, or Elch, and they actually had to go to northern Germany to get the peat, even though they're down in southern Germany, because it's not a natural thing in the south of Germany with the mountainous areas.
Okay.
So maybe it would be a great idea to use another material to smoke the barley. Maybe some kind of wood that is
No sheep dung.
closer to the region or something like that.
And
But it's not so bad.
the malting plant, or the malting places in Belgium. So the peat comes from northern Germany, goes over to Belgium, goes back down to southern Germany, because no one in Germany touches the peat. So.
Oh my, oh my.
Sorry, Luna, that leads me to a question I asked in the French version of our live to Philippe, and it's a good moment, in fact, to have his take on it, because I think SLYRS released whiskey, but under another name, because it was a pitted version, right? Can you tell us a bit about that? Sorry.
Yes, also SLYRS at the base, they make only non-peated whiskey, and they have one whiskey which is made with on the Isle of Sylt in the north of Germany, and it's a Sicht whiskey. It's also a limited edition. And this Sicht whiskey is, so the name is Sicht, and it's made with it's a little bit peaty and also a little bit salted whiskey.
So the whiskey is distilled in Bavaria, but it's actually then transported up to the island and put on a boat, and it's rocked back and forth for about 2 to 3 years, which is kind of really cool, to be honest. Yeah, one of the best expressions I've had from SLYRS.
Yeah,
so this maturation is actually quite interesting, because it's not a still maturation, but there is movement all the time. So you have more wood contact. Would that be an explanation? I don't know.
I don't know this whiskey very well. I have to say the Silt, but I know the barrels are on the boat, and with the movement from the boat, so you have a particularity from the whiskey. Yeah, it's a special thing from this whiskey.
All right, so I have a video of German and English about it. So just Google Silt and Whisky Jason, you'll find it immediately.
Fantastic. Yeah, the Americans did something like that with Ocean.
Jefferson's Ocean, yeah.
Daniel, yeah.
Hi, Daniel. Hi, Menno. Hi, everyone. Okay, we're going to move on maybe to, which is your favorite expression, by the way, Luna, from the 1, 2, 3, 4?
I think I just go with the 1.
I'm going to try it with you, and then we're going to switch to other distilleries, but they're almost 2 hours. It's crazy.
I think the 1 is my favorite. The 2 is a bit too winey.
I love the 2.
Really?
It's my favorite, yeah.
I
agree with you.
I think the wine, the Amarone, kind of, for me, it just smothers a bit of the St Kilian spirit, which is, in my humble opinion, very delicate and very fruity and very multi-layered, and
a little bit of pear is what they say.
I have the 1.
Yeah, the 1, that's my favorite.
And at the end of the 1, you have that chestnut cask, which gives a little bit of a tartiness, a little bit of a bitterness that I didn't prefer. And other people said, oh, finally there's character, transitions, depth, complexity.
Absolutely. And what I like is also this yeasty smell that you still get, like this unbaked yeast dough. And then you have pears and white wine a bit, and also a bit of white pepper. You have a little crunch. And then comes the chestnut with this
some
tart.
Some raisins.
Yeah, it's a bit tart and a bit not sour, but tart. I really like that.
It's young, but it's well made.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is very well made for the age.
But then again, it's confusing, because where does this whiskey come from?
Absolutely.
I haven't tasted them blind. so I knew it was German. But at the same time, I would have gone blind if you ask me for maybe a young Scottish craft distillery, 3 years old stuff, some kind of other Wolfburn, not Wolfburn, but it's very nice distillate as well. Which one?
Kingsbarns.
No.
That's a different character. It's a different beast.
It's more. Yeah, it's more. I think it's more accomplished, and probably also because I think they mixed 3 and 4 years old in the one I have, and there's a question of fermentation time and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same. I think it's more complex and more rich. Sorry, than this one.
Okay.
This one is very good. I think I haven't found my other notes. There's something that's happened there. Sorry, but I think I rated the most, the best one, probably the 3 and the 1. And my least favorite was the 2. But they're all pretty decent. It's good stuff. It's a good distillery. Then if we go, because I see the time's running out, go to the other distilleries, because I would feel sorry if we were. I had 11 other distilleries, 11 total distilleries samples from you guys. So I will feel
a little bit too much bit off there.
I will be sorry if I wouldn't say at least a word, 30 seconds on each one. So
Greg, just a suggestion. Maybe you can put the other distilleries that you don't talk so much about in the description of your video, so that people can also look them up.
Yeah, of course, because it's a bit. I went very short on it because I didn't know which one I was going to highlight, except St Killian'S and SLYRS. But yeah, there's Job's Distillery. Showing samples is not very. What can I say about it? 76 out of 100, 81. The Madeira, 81. Yeah, there's something a bit chemical, a bit fruit spirit forward.
Yes.
It's like this and warning to me. Oh, yeah. You want the Madeira, but no, it's not bad. It's interesting, but there's some kind of integration problem of the Madeira.
They actually have a cognac cask now out at the moment, which is very good, and they had a Muscatel, which was fairly good.
I liked the Finch Black Label 2016. I think
nice
it was
stuff.
decent. Yeah.
Jason has stuff at the ready.
Yeah.
I only had 10 bottles of Yops myself, so I didn't pull those out. But yeah.
Then I had the Saltazal, which crazy names, honestly. Saltazal, 5 years old, 46%, 81 out of 100, with a very nutty chocolate profile.
Yep.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, Saltazal, there was number 1, number 2, and number 3 actually at the moment. This is from Eastern Germany. They're from Sachsen. Very interesting.
Probably the worst one I had, sorry guys, was the Baltach Pitted. Sorry for the pronunciation.
Yeah. Baltach was very good.
Correctly pronounced. I had some cow dung on the nose note, almost vomit note. It was really terrible. It was better on the palate, but kind of disjointed once again. Some nice aniseed notes, some nice citrus fruit. The water brought a lot of cardboard, which is a sign of not a good distillation, and the result was 68 out of 100. So,
that's not good.
No, 78 for the Cavo, but a bit better, a bit chemical marshmallow, too much esters in that to be really interesting, and despite a 47.3 ABV, which is amazing. On the contrary, one of the best one, I was really stunned about it. It was the Eiffel Whiskey Rye, single barrel. Terrific stuff. And which I gave Luna a 92 out of 100. This I must have one of them. But I see once again small bottles. Why?
350.
Is it such a small distillery they don't have enough?
The
Jason?
real true story is they don't have a distillery. They let someone else distill it for them.
Ah,
So
it's a
distilled
source
by
from the US?
Zassa Distillery. They have a cooperation, and they actually just mature it in the Eifel, which is a region in Germany.
I didn't know that. So it's sourced from Germany or abroad?
It's a contract distilling. So it's in Germany, and they have a contract with the Zassa. That's the name of the distillery that produce it themselves. And they don't make whiskey themselves, Zassa. They only make the schnapps. And so their partner is here, Eiffel.
But it is a German whiskey or not?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay, but it's an indie bottler. Can we say that?
No, you can't.
Also,
Writer's Tears.
okay.
So Writer's Tears from Ireland, they don't have their own distillery. They never had it, or it's gone. And so now they actually consignment distilling. So the same thing.
Okay. Kind of bonding stuff. Yeah.
All right, good.
I'm not very...
What Phale does as an independent bottler, they don't go and say, make this whiskey for me. They oh, you made some whiskey, give it to me. And so it's a whole different system.
Yeah, but it's like a licensed bottling in a way. A Gordon MacPhail taking the distillate and putting it into their barrels.
Jason, just a question. Do you have one of these bottlings that 1848 Freiheit thingy?
I only have a sample of that. I'm sorry.
Okay, because I tried that at a last year at a charity tasting, and it was far too young.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But I think they brought out some more stuff. But you.
There's a total of 3 different bottlings at the moment.
Oh, right. Okay.
On the German market. Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna check that out.
Take a look. They're developing.
Okay. Okay.
To answer to Menno, sorry, Luna, maybe, but I need more French whiskies. You won't believe it, but I have too many whiskies from the same distilleries that for me are the best, the 2 ones, which are from Brittany, and I have too few of the others. So believe it or not, I have 4 only different French distilleries on board. Also because I struggle to find good value ones, honestly, among the new ones, I mean. And also off topic, I might be crossing fingers, working myself to collaborate with the distillery to create 2 whiskies. It's on the plans. It's on the plans. So I hope one for this year, maybe, and one in 3 years. And I hope to do something that doesn't exist in France yet. I'm pushing this because I'm crazy about blending, and I hope this will be going further. In the meantime, I promise to maybe get 1, 2, 3, 4 more whiskies within 6 months, let's say, to have a better choice, even for my friends, to do justice to French distilleries. But honestly, with what I see there, I bought SLYRS because that was good and that was affordable. Will I? And I give, it's not, people are going to say, no, I'm biased. I don't know. I will say something a bit provocative now for French distilleries. Do something as good as that, and I will buy it. And as affordable as that. Okay? Désolé, Philippe.
Greg, you know so much about the spirit market, and you also tasted Armagnacs and cognacs and all this kind of thing.
Yes.
Do you think actually that there is a market for French whiskey? Because you guys, I mean, in France, you produce so much other spirits, other good spirits. So why?
The answer, you're going to be surprised. Very good question, Luna, once again. You're going to be surprised about the answer. Last week, I had a very important I think it was very important live because of my main guest. Sorry, Philippe, you were the other guest, but Alexandre is Alexandre, mais je pense que tu sais pourquoi je dis ça. Alexandre Vintier is one of the most, and I learned that en cours de route. He's probably one of the 5 or 10 most important people who knows about whiskey and other spirits in the world. He has certifications. He's a whiskey writer, but a whiskey consultant, etc. He wrote a lot of books about whiskey, rum, cognac, mezcal. He has certifications, not some fantasistic 2 days I see here and there. Sorry, guys. We're talking about real things, and about shoshu, about sake. Is working with the National Office of Cognac, also working for the most famous wine review, one of the most respected around the world, etc., etc. I'm not going to do advertising for him, but we talked about this and what I learned, but I knew it a bit, alas, before the answer he made. To start with cognac, Luna, 98% of the cognac goes abroad.
What?
Wow.
Is consumed abroad, and among this, but I'm gonna have Alexandre again. He agreed to come back to my channel for a special cognac live stream in English, because I have a lot of question about cognac, and we said maybe, and I see a lot of reviews, nice reviews, cool reviews, but often not documented at all from our fellows, even people I love. Sorry, guys. So I think maybe they need, not you, Jason, you always document, but I think these guys are doing mostly things they like to discover, but they haven't done necessary searches. They discover it by the cognac show and stuff. I'm thinking of my pals in UK. So I won't criticize them really. I mean, it's just a light thing I'm saying there. But to come back to your question, there is supposed to be an audience for whiskey, but if you look at the numbers, France is the first consumer of blended whiskies from Scotland.
That's true, yeah. Right.
But not Blue Label, not let's say this is not a luxury whiskey from Compass Box, not those stuff. No, a regular entry-level 15-20 euro stuff. They mix with Coke, ice, etc., and it's fine if they like that. But single malt is from Scotland is mostly importantly consumed in the US. I think it's the first country. Then France comes among the followers. The most important distillery from France, and I will check it out again, but I think it's 1,000 liters, 1 million liters. Varonghem, that's the Armoric, for those who know.
Don't worry, I can't count in French to save my life.
Anyway, they sell also abroad. So no, there's not really an audience for that. There's a growing new audience for French whiskies, but do they meet the offer? Does the demand goes with the offer? I'm not sure. There's kind of hype now in new independent bottlers. Very few people. It's very niche. It's very small. So Armagnac is not popular at all once once you leave the areas where it's produced in West France. Like cognac, people don't drink a lot of cognac and Armagnac, honestly, because it's a wine country before anything. Like I would say, probably in Germany, correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, most of people probably don't drink whiskeys, but they drink beers.
Yep.
Wine as well. Well, I'm from the south of Germany, and you can actually say that in the wine growing regions, the good stuff is drunk there.
Yeah.
German wine is not exported. Good German wine stays in the region, basically. And there is a clear divide between south and north. If you are in the south of Germany, except Bavaria maybe, but if you're in the south and southwest of Germany, people drink more wine than beer, I'd say, because you have the good stuff right on your doorstep. You just jump in the car and drive to a vineyard, and you buy the stuff there.
Yeah, the best for me is this one. The best French from Brittany, Luna ARRAN. Oops, sorry, I have a...
Can you put up the picture?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to find where was the... Yeah. Let's go fast. I struggle to answer. Sorry, I apologize to the chat. I struggle to answer the chat and think of my answer to Luna, which is very interesting. Debate. So yeah, to put a long story short, I think when I see the young generation, for instance, coming in, they are raving for single cask from Scotland, high stuff. So not much from France, really, honestly.
And I think,
yeah,
I think gin is also kind of all this.
Yeah, from France.
I don't want to sound condescending, but this hipster thing going on, right?
Yes, yes.
It's not we meant condescending at all. I love a good gin tonic in summer. It's great. It's great.
No, it's difficult. Honestly, it's very difficult in a country that has not a tradition. Bear in mind, the whiskey in France is only on the market since in 1989. First whiskey on the market, first blended whiskey, which was a single blend from Armoric, which was not popular for a long time, but it sold well, but it was not popular in whiskey so-called connoisseur circle, because it was a genuine one, and there was very green elements in this blend. There was wheat instead of corn, and people were not used to this coming from Ballantyne's or Johnny Walker, so they were very surprised. So what is this? There's even something almost bitter, sour. There's something almost smoky. Oh, I don't want that in my blend. I want sweet caramel and stuff. So they were a bit put off by this one. Then the single malt Armory came, but we're talking a late 90s now. So French whiskey is very young, and my concern is that I'm not happy so far with how it goes now. New distilleries and because many, I already said that, but many ones, I don't know about Germany, but I kind of feel might be the same. Many are relying on so-called terroir trick, which is red wine finishes, basically, to state they are not American whiskeys or Scotch whiskeys. They don't want their barrels from abroad. They only want French barrels. And what is in there most of the time? Wine. So it's a bit of a narrow way for me of thinking, and often, even if there are good results, in some cases, most of the time, 90% of what I try is too winey and is hiding the distillery character, and it's expensive. So I'm not interested in that. So as long as it's like that, I won't have other whiskies from France here on the table.
So Philippe, and you know the German and the French market. How would you say that the whiskey markets differ in Germany and France?
What the German market is?
How would you say that the German and the French market differ?
Luna has only good questions tonight.
Strength whiskies.
The French competed.
Said Greg, the French loves whiskey. They love whiskey and they love blended whiskey, but not very high quality whiskey. Mm-hmm. And they mix it a lot with Coke or with other things. I think the German they look more for the quality. And also more for the single malt whiskies. It's my impression.
I will
So
maybe interrupt you guys to say maybe and go and let you finish. Sorry, Philippe. Maybe people need simply to be better educated to the good stuff. How about that?
yeah.
But
Because
it's difficult if you have a good wine tradition and then try to bring in spirits, which is a totally different experience, I think. If you drink wine, I mean, you drink it with food, you drink it for dinner, and then you have a bottle of wine. And I mean, who drinks a bottle of whiskey at night? I mean, it can happen, for sure. But then you are 5 people drinking one bottle, right?
Yeah, but yet again, I have to say, Diageo with the classic malts did a pretty good job in France, hiring several chefs and even Abelard. I was invited at a dinner with Abelard, by the way, recently with a French chef, a woman chef. They did a good job, but it's a niche. It's still for a happy few. They did a good job, but Diageo did more. They did guides. I have small ones there somewhere. They did guides pairing the classic malts with cheese, with dessert, with seafood, and each time they give examples. And it seemed to work well, but it didn't last very long. It was a trend about 10 years ago. They did some boxes with a bottle, glass, and a bookshelf with recipes and food pairings. It quite worked well at Christmas. But beyond that, it didn't really... la mayonnaise n'a pas pris. I don't know how to say that in English. It didn't go further than that.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot with that. And for instance, for me, by far, the most explosive pairing I know is still Lagavulin 16 with French equivalent of blue cheese, which is Roquefort. Don't you agree, guys?
That's not something that you would start your evening with, right?
Have you tried that? No, it's not a starter.
No, I just imagine Roquefort being a really, really strong blue cheese, right? You cannot eat a lot. Just you eat small slices of Roquefort.
It's very salty.
Yeah, and then with a good smoky whiskey, I think that's a great idea.
Dark chocolate also goes well with the Freud.
It does.
Well,
it does.
I think it's a question of, I did a tasting. I wasn't hired a lot by retailers because they didn't want to pay me, first off. And they wanted me to bring the whiskeys. So they wanted to do no job, no risk, no etc. But from time to time, I came across nice people that were left okay to organize things. And I did a wine and whiskey pairing. It's on my website, by the way. Tasting some day. And it was very interesting because we were trying to educate people. I have a specialist of wine with me, which was the people taking care of the seller of the retailer shop. And we were basically saying, this wine is interesting because of this kind of profile. And we think this whiskey was interesting because there's some similarities in it. And we will try some food made by a chef, especially to match those. And for instance, I'll give you an example. Hakshu Distillers Reserve, the first batches that were way better than the ones that came after, unfortunately. They have some kind of Chablis taste in it, white resin, stuff like that. And we pair it with an old vines Chablis for the tasting, and we have food for each. And people were getting excited. Oh, it can be interesting. Oh, whiskey can also have food pairings. Oh my God, we didn't know, etc. It lasted 3 hours. But as long as you don't do things like that, I think most of the people have no idea. That's why I asked Philippe, do you do pairings with food sometimes? And he said, yes. As long as you don't show people, you can match things. I think most of the people have no idea. It's not their fault. They haven't been explained that. They haven't been educated that this can work, that you can do a whole meal, a whole menu with whiskey. Of course, not with the same quantities with wine, but and I did that. And there's a restaurant in France, in Paris, it has a 300 whiskeys and spirits menu in his restaurant, and does food pairings. And one of my blended whiskeys was in there, by the way, at the time. Creation. So as long as you don't do that, people have no idea it exists. So I don't know, Jason, what's your take on this one? Does Germany does food pairings as well with whiskey, or?
I've been to a few whiskey fairs, and they've done those as well. They've offered them. A lot of it's chocolate. Sometimes it's actually meals prepared. But I think it's still a very niche market, which I think
that's
be
a
developed
problem.
more. It's
I
very
agree.
interesting, yeah, but you need to know your stuff.
And you need to know which kind of dishes go well with which kind of whiskey. And I think it's difficult with wine already. And then you make it with whiskey. It's even I think it's even more difficult. But certainly a good idea. You could start off small, doing cheeses or all kinds of cold cut sausages or these kinds of things. I think that's good for Bavaria, right? So if you have different kind of sausages or hams and these kinds of things that go with whiskey, kind of cold food would be a starting point.
I'm sure there's a lot of things, even with Philippe's range, with the SLYRS range, as I told him last time. I don't know what your take on it, Philippe, on if you think you should organize food pairings for your customers here. I don't know.
It could be a good idea to make it, and we had already make it with a wine sailor here in Limoges, who make a tasting in a restaurant with the SLYRS whiskies. It was very, very, very nice.
Interesting.
Very nice, I think, yeah.
Okay, guys, I see many people are leaving now. Bye-bye. Thanks a lot for coming, and we will get in touch for the giveaways. No problem, guys. I will check out my message after that. I think we're gonna wrap it up now in a very few minutes. Thank you very much, guys. Daniel, Manu, Krasimir, Guillaume, who else?
Whiskey Straight L was in earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still in.
And there was a German one, Expedition. Something
yes,
like
that's
Expedition
Dirk.
Whiskey, Dirk.
Yeah.
Dirk, yeah, he's a nice guy.
So there's a lots of things. Sorry if I digress a lot, and we maybe digress from the German theme, but we are not. It's our frontier, German and French. We're neighbors, so necessarily they will have crossing topics. Oh, hi Jim, thanks. Sorry, we're gonna finish it. So please watch the replay. I think we only scratched the surface for German whiskies. If you said there's several hundreds now, so please watch once again Whisky Jason channel. I'm sure he will bring out also some German whiskies in there.
Some, yes.
Have a look also. Can you? I don't have the right, I think, on YouTube to advertise once again on the comment on the description or so. But can you tell us, Philippe, where you can find people can find your whiskies?
So for the French people who are living in France, on the website Aux Saveurs de Bavière. And so it's my online shop, and you can buy SLYRS on this shop. And in Germany,
the website maybe the website address, it's simple. Is it SLYRS.com or?
No. So for Aux Saveurs de Bavière, it's Aux Saveurs de Bavière .fr.
Okay.
And for SLYRS in Germany, SLYRS.com, and they have an online shop, and they ship in Germany.
Yeah, we'll see what I can add, Luna, to the description. Okay, so if people have questions, yeah, I'm gonna do as Luna says, add the several expressions I tried. I cannot give you guys a proper review now. I have to write it into French and then translate it. But you can have a basis to see what you can find in Germany, and maybe ask more to us, to Jason, to me, to Philippe, if it's SLYRS related, etc. So thank you so much, the one and only Luna ARRAN, to start with. It was lovely to have you. Very interesting.
Thank you for having me.
Cool. Also humor and a nice spirit. And thank you so much, Philippe, to come back again in English this time.
Thank you.
Merci
well
encore.
done, Philippe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And Whisky Jason, you're the man, once again, not only about German whiskies. So please, guys, have a look. And maybe we'll have you again to speak about other whiskies. Who knows, someday. So take care, guys. Have a nice end of night. Stay safe. Drink responsibly. I have to say that if it's not pleasant. Drink less but better, for instance.
Yeah.
Try some food pairings. Try some SLYRS, try some St KILLIAN'S, whatever. And maybe it will change your idea about what is German whiskey. I think it's a nice conclusion. Cheers, guys. Thank you so much once again.
Take care. Bye-bye.
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 Bye, everyone in the chat. Voila, I think